Welcome to your class today. I'm going to start with a deep breath in through the nose and then release the breath with a sigh through your mouth. You can close down your eyes or lower your gaze, soften your gaze, and start to pay attention to your breath. Starting the class anchoring into your breath, focusing on your breath. It helps to bring you into the present moment, into the present time of your practice. Your body is definitely here physically. Sometimes our minds can still be busy with the day ahead or what needs to come later. So be interested in how your breath feels today, the inhalation, the exhalation. And then begin to deepen your inhalation and lengthen your exhalation. As you do that, when you begin your inhalation, feel the belly expand, then the rib cage, and then upper chest lifting. And as you let go of the breath, as you exhale, dropping the chest, contracting the rib cage, and then the belly. Keeping your breath smooth and continuous, but feeling belly, rib cage, chest expanding, and then everything contracting, releasing the breath. Especially when we've been sitting down quite a lot, our shoulders come forward, our body becomes smaller, and sometimes the breath, it can feel like it's only in one place, and now we try and use the whole of our torso for our breath, creating the space. For our breathing exercise today, we're going to work with nadi shodhana, which is an alternate nostril breathing exercise. We'll also add a retention. So always when you're doing this, if you feel uncomfortable or breathless, let the hands come back to the legs and breathe normally. We'll be taking index and middle finger, resting it between the eyebrows. Your thumb will be closing your right nostril, ring finger closing your left nostril. And the pattern will be an inhalation through the left nostril for a count of 4, pausing at the top of the inhalation for a count of 4, and then exhaling through the right side for a count of 6. Then inhaling right for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 6. And I'll count, so you don't need to worry about that. Rest your first 2 fingers between your brow. Take a deep breath in through both sides of your nose. Exhale completely. At the end of your exhalation, close your right nostril. Inhale left side for 1, 2, 3, 4. Close both sides of your nose and retain your breath. And then exhale through the right side for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale right side for 1, 2, 3, 4. Close both sides of your nose and retain your breath. Exhaling left side of your nose, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and retain. Exhale right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and retain. Exhaling left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and retain. Exhale right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and retain. Exhale left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and retain. Exhale right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last retention. Exhale left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rest your hands on your legs and experience the feeling of the breath in and out through both sides of your nose together. The reality may be that one side feels more open than the other, but have the feeling or visualizing the breath equally in and out through both sides. And noticing the rhythm of your breath. You're going to be keeping your awareness with your breath for the whole of your yoga practice. And then come into tabletop position. We'll meet up in tabletop position with the hands, the wrists under the shoulders, and the knees under the hips. And today we're going to start making some circles with the hips, but using the hip circles not just to ease into your hip joints, but also into your wrists, feeling the movement into your shoulders, into the knees, taking the circles also in the other direction. Coming back to your tabletop position. On your next inhalation, tilting your pelvis, let your tummy reach down to the ground. Lift your chest forward and lift your chin. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round your back. Bring your chin towards your chest. Again, inhaling, tummy down, look forward. And as you exhale, tucking your tailbone under, rounding your back and chin to your chest. One more like this, moving with your breath, inhaling to arch your back, and exhaling to round your back. Coming back into tabletop position, I'm going to turn this way so you can see. I'm going to open the right leg to the side, so right knee and foot opening to the side with your shin parallel to the ground. On your inhalation, lifting right knee and foot to the side. On your exhalation, slowly lowering back down. Again, inhaling, opening knee and foot to the side. Doesn't matter how high. Exhale, find that control, moving slowly to lower down. And take this one more time, inhaling to lift up. And exhaling to lower down. Come and sit on the left side of your hip. So the knees are stacked in one on top of the other. And then take your right leg off your left leg. Hands coming, framing your left knee. But actually the focus is on this right foot. Outside of your right foot, you're going to lift it up to the ceiling. The knee stays on the ground. So on your inhalation, lifting the foot off the ground. You may notice it around this area. This is the muscle we're targeting. As you next exhale, lower the foot down. Again, inhaling to lift up. You won't lift it very high. Exhaling to lower. May feel a bit weird. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling to lower. Bringing the right knee back on top of the left. And then lift the knees up to center. I'm going to give you a couple of options for the next one. So either you're going to stretch left leg forward, Taking the right foot over the top. It may be that your foot stays here, or it may be that you're taking the foot further back, stacking right knee on top of your left knee. If you've got a cushion nearby, you can wedge it under here. So this is our first option, here or here. Second option is tucking that left foot under, and still you're stacking one knee over the other. So you're either here or here. So experiencing sensation on the outside of the hip, and it may also be in other places as well. If there's any discomfort, any pain in the knee, bring the foot back flat. So you don't want to have any tugging sensation in the knee. You can rest your left hand on the ground, even behind you, so you're sitting tall. Inhaling, right arm reaches up to the ceiling. As you exhale, take your right hand behind your head, neck, or down your spine. Next, inhalation, think that right elbow lifting up towards the ceiling, finding this lengthening feeling down the side of the arm, the side of your rib cage. Notice if your head is reaching forward, is there space for your neck? Can you lengthen through the back of your neck? On your exhalation, release the arm and then carefully guide the foot back across. You can bend both of the knees and then come back into your tabletop position. I'm going to do all of that with the left leg from your tabletop position. On your inhalation, opening the left knee and foot to the side, shin is roughly parallel to the ground. Exhaling to lower down. Again, inhaling, opening knee and foot to the side. Exhaling to lower down. We'll take this one more time. Inhaling, opening left knee and foot to the side. And exhaling to lower down. Coming to sit on the right side of your hip. The knees are stacked one on top of the other, and then take the left leg off your right leg. You can rest your hands on the ground in front of your right knee. Focus is on this left foot. On the inhalation, lifting the side of your left foot up towards the ceiling. And exhaling to lower down. Again, inhaling to lift the foot up. Exhaling to lower down. One more time, inhaling to lift the foot up. And exhaling to lower down. Stacking your left knee back on top of the right, lift the knees up. Stretching right leg forward. Again, you have a couple of options here. Either crossing left over right, or adding that you take the left foot back, stacking left knee on top of right knee. Or you're also tucking the right leg under. Again, left knee stacks on top of right. If you take this version, notice if this hip is lifted up. If it's very lifted, take the legs straight again. So you should be able to feel both sit bones on the ground. Wherever you are, you can take your right hand behind to help keep the back straight, nice and tall. And then inhaling, lifting left arm up to the ceiling. Exhaling, taking it behind your head or down your back. Now on your inhalation, think left elbow lifted up to the ceiling. Make sure you still have space for your neck. On your exhalation, the arm comes back down again. However you got into the pose, come out in the reverse order. So making sure this knee feels safe, the leg is tucked under, untuck it, taking the leg back across again. Bending both knees, coming back into tabletop position. And then send your hips back towards your heels, head down towards the ground, and relax. And if this doesn't feel great for the knees, lift the hips a bit higher, take the weight into the forearms, relax your head down towards the ground. On your next inhalation, coming back to tabletop position. And then step your right foot forward between your hands. Foot and shin pressing down to the ground. When your balance is there, inhaling to lift the arms up. See if you can work on squeezing your glute muscles and lifting the lower part of your belly upwards, tailbone down, getting some lengthening action into the front of the hips. Rest your right hand on right thigh. As you inhale, left hand reaches up to the ceiling. On your exhalation, a side bend to the right. On your inhalation, coming back up to center, then exhaling, left hand down to the ground. Inhaling, right hand reaching up to the ceiling, so adding spinal twist into this lunge. See if you can have the feeling that the right side of your chest is trying to look up at the ceiling. Now, keeping your body as it is, take your right hand to the outside of your right knee. And then have the feeling of the right knee pressing into the hand and the hand resisting that movement. So knee presses into the hand presses back against the knee. This is making the muscles on the sides of the hip work, also be engaged in this posture. On your exhalation, releasing from the twist, hand comes back down to the ground. Step your right knee back. Walk your hands back towards the knees and lift the body up. Hands onto your waist, thumbs against your sacrum, fingers pointing forward. Inhaling, lifting your chest, squeeze your glutes, press the hip bones forward, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together, elbows together. You can look up to the ceiling, or you can keep your chin to your chest. So in this spine extension, squeezing the glutes, hamstrings are working, lengthening through the fronts of the hips, chest lifted up to the ceiling, shoulder blades coming together. All the time breathing your nice steady rhythm of breath. And then exhaling, releasing from the pose. Just going to turn this way so you can see. Right leg stretching out to the side. The toes are pointing forward and you're pressing into the outer edge of that foot. On your inhalation, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Exhaling, side bend to the right. Resting this right hand lightly against your leg, not pressing into it. Left hand reaching up to the ceiling. You can look up to the ceiling, you can look down to the ground, or you can look straight ahead. It just depends how it feels for your neck. On your inhalation, arms reaching back up again. And exhaling, hands back, knee in. Coming back into tabletop position. And then stepping your left foot forward between your hands, pressing foot and shin downwards. Inhaling, arms lifting up. Straight away, feel that you're squeezing your glute muscles, lifting the lower part of your belly up. Rest your left hand on left thigh. Inhale, right arm reaching up. Exhale, side bend to the left. See if you can have the feeling of breathing into the right side of your rib cage, ballooning it outwards. On your inhalation, coming back up to center, and then exhaling, right hand flat down to the ground. And inhale, left hand reaches up to the ceiling. Then taking your left hand to the outside of your left knee. Knee presses into hand, hand resists that outwards movement. You're still in your spinal twist. Then releasing from the twist, hand comes back down to the ground, left knee back. Walk the hands back on your waist again. On your inhalation, squeezing your glutes, lifting the chest upwards, pressing the hip bones forward. Shoulder blades draw towards each other. See if you can also add the feeling of the thighs trying to press out to the sides. They're not going anywhere, but there's a feeling that they're trying to move outwards. And then on your exhalation, release from the pose. Stretching your left leg out to the side. The toes are pointing forward, pressing into the outer edge of the foot. On your inhalation, arms reaching up towards the corners. Exhaling, side bend to the left. Right hand keeps reaching upwards. Inhaling to lift back up again. And exhale, hands down, knee comes back in. You can send your hips back towards your heels. Walk the hands forward, rest your head on the ground or towards the ground and relax. And then coming back to tabletop and come and stand up. Coming into sun salutations. Feet hip distance apart at the top of your mat, hands beside your body. As you inhale, reaching the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward, hands coming down towards the ground. Take a little bend into your knees so the hands can reach the ground. On your next inhalation, right foot steps back, knee comes down to the ground, and then lift your arms up to the ceiling. On your next exhalation, hands back to the mat, tuck right toes, step left leg back. You're in this plank position, and then drop the knees to the ground. Inhale to lift your belly and chest away from the mat. Exhaling, lowering all the way down to your mat, but you can also come down via the elbows if that feels better. Hands in front of the shoulders. Inhaling, peeling your chest off the mat to look forward. Exhaling, lowering down. Hands behind your shoulders. Inhaling, lifting up to tabletop. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Check in with your breath. Do you still have your steady rhythm of breath? Does it feel good to pedal out the feet a little, easing into the backs of the calves? It may feel better to lift your heels and bend your knees a bit so that you can lengthen out through the spine. Wherever you are, bring the knees down to the mat again, and then step your right foot forward between your hands and lift your arms to the ceiling. As you exhale, hands back down to the mat, left toes tuck, left foot beside right foot, forward fold. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing, then exhaling, hands down. Inhale, arms reaching up. Exhale to fold forward. As you inhale, big step back with your left leg, knee down. Exhale to settle. Inhale, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Exhaling, hands down, right foot steps back to meet the left, plank. And then drop the knees to the ground. Inhaling, lifting belly, chest up. Exhale, lower flat down to the ground. Hands in front of shoulders. Inhaling, lifting the chest, low cobra. Exhale, lower down, hands behind the shoulders. Inhale, lift up to tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Dropping your knees down to the mat. On your inhalation, step left foot forward between the hands and lift the arms up to the ceiling. Exhaling, hands down, right foot forward. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. We're going to do one more time each side. I'm going to take away some of the steps along the way, and we'll try and keep with our inhalation, exhalation, the movement with the breath all the way through. Take the extra breaths as you need them, and if we're a bit out of sync with our breath, that's okay. And downward facing dog, we'll reconnect again. On your inhalation, arms reaching up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, right leg steps back, knee to the ground, arms up. Exhaling, hands down, left foot back, plank. Inhaling, lifting belly, chest from the ground. Exhaling to lower down. Hands in front of shoulders. Inhaling, lifting the chest. Exhaling, transitioning to downward facing dog. Looking towards the top of your mat. On your next inhalation, right foot forward, left knee down, arms up, all one breath. Exhaling, hands down, left foot forward. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. Exhaling, hands down. One more like this. Inhaling, arms reaching up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, left leg back, knee to the ground, arms reaching up. Exhaling, hands down, right foot back, plank position, drop the knees. Inhale, lift away from the ground. Exhale, lower down. Hands in front of shoulders. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, lowering down, transitioning downward facing dog. Focusing on your breath. Then looking to the top of the mat, your next inhalation, left foot forward, right knee down, arms up. Exhaling, hands down, right foot forward, forward fold. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. For the next few sequences, we're going to use the width of the mat. If turning and using the width of the mat means that you're looking over your shoulder, if you want to turn your mat at this point, feel free to do so, or you move your device. And then we're going to start with the feet roughly hip distance apart. And for some of you, including myself, you're going to want to turn your toes out slightly. So we're going to be coming into a kind of a squat position. For some people, it feels good with the feet parallel. For others, with the toes more open will feel better. Feel that you're squeezing your glutes before we start, and then inhaling, palms coming together above your head. As you exhale, side bend to the right. Really taking it slowly, inhaling, coming back to center. See that you're engaging your tummy muscles. Exhaling, side bend to the left. Inhaling, slowly coming back up to center, arms reaching up. And then exhaling, bend your knees, send your hips down and back as if you're sitting on an imaginary chair. Some of you will be able to stay more upright than me. I'm going to bring the hips down, no more than the thighs being parallel to the ground. Notice if this wants to happen. See if you can press, keep the legs engaged outwards. On your inhalation, coming all the way back up. And exhaling, hands onto the waist. Toe heel the feet slightly wider, toes a little more open, so towards the corners of your mat. On your inhalation, arms reaching to the corners. Exhaling, bending the knees, bend the elbows. Notice if the pelvis is tilting, so your tummy is dipping down, see if you can draw tailbone down, lift lower belly slightly up. Doesn't need to be tucked under, but notice if it's tilting back a lot. With your elbows bent, take the right elbow over the left. So either grabbing fingers or palms together or hands on the shoulders. See how it feels in your shoulders. Inhaling to lift the elbows up. And then exhale, shoulders down. Still keep bending the knees. Inhaling, lifting the elbows up. And as you exhale, think elbows drawing down towards the ground. On your next inhalation, straightening the legs and release your arms. You can shake out your shoulders a bit. Turning both heels out and then turning the right toes towards the right side of your room. For some of you, you may want to also move the left foot further away. Left toes are pointing this way, right toes are pointing that way. Inhaling, arms reaching up to the ceiling. As you exhale, bend your right knee, arms opening and reaching equally either side. So making sure you're not reaching more one way than the other. You can look towards your right hand. So while you're here, think about squeezing your left glutes and slightly lifting your right hip bone. Ever so slightly. It's not like you're trying to tilt it like this, but you're counteracting the tendency in this pose of wanting to be like this. So we're slightly lifting the right hip. Maybe you'll feel an effect on the inside of your left leg. From here, turning the right palm to face up, reach towards the right side of your room, and then lifting the arm up and back. Left hand rests lightly against this leg. You can look up at your hand. You can look straight. You can look towards your back foot. Notice if this left knee is trying to fall inwards. Can you keep lifting the inside of your left leg? On your inhalation, reaching the arms back out to the side, and exhaling, relax the arms, straighten the leg. Turning the right toes in, and then toe heel the feet back together again. Again, feet are about hip distance apart. You can turn your toes out a bit. Inhaling, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Exhaling, side bend to the left. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, side bend to the right. Inhaling, arms reaching up to the ceiling. This time, exhaling, palms in front of your chest, hands pressed together. Send the hips down and back. You may wish to go even lower this time, hips coming down towards the ground, or keeping the thighs parallel to the ground. Keep the outsides of the legs pressing outwards. And then on your inhalation, coming all the way back up again. Hands to your waist. Toe heel the feet slightly wider, toes pointing towards the corners. Inhaling, arms reaching up. Exhaling, bending knees, bending elbows. Imagine it's like your tailbone is guiding you downwards. You're going to take left elbow over right. Resting hands on the shoulders, fingers or palms together. Wherever you are, inhaling, elbows lift up. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhaling, lifting the elbows up. Exhaling, elbows down. And then releasing the arms, straightening the legs. Turn your both heels out and then turn the left toes towards the left end of your mat. If you feel the feet are too close together, you can take the right foot, toe heel it further away. Inhaling, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Exhale, bend your left knee. Both arms reaching equally either side and look towards your left hand. When you do that, noticing any sensation around the right side of your chest or even your neck. Keep breathing your steady pace of breath. Then squeezing the right glute, slightly lifting your left hip bone. And now flipping left hand, reach towards left side of your room and then up and back. Right hand is resting lightly against your leg. On your inhalation, arms back out to the side. Exhaling, hands down, straighten your leg. Left toes turn in. Toe heel the feet back together again. This time bringing the feet together, we're going to be doing a spinal twist using the strength of the core for the twist rather than pulling our body into a twist. When we're coming into the spinal twist, we don't want the pelvis also twisting because that's going to not feel great around the knees. So as you twist to the right, think right hip bone pressing forward as you twist to the right. So inhaling, arms reaching up, palms forward. Exhaling, elbows down and twist to the right, thinking right hip bone forward. Your next inhalation coming back to center. Exhaling, spinal twist to the left. Think left hip bone forward. Inhaling, arms reaching up to the ceiling. And exhaling, hands coming onto your waist. And then toe heeling the feet wide as you did when we were doing our Virabhadrasana 2 or a warrior 2 position. The prop that I asked you to get, so a block or a tin of beans or a book or a Tupperware box, turning your right toes out and then place that prop on the inside of your right foot. Right toes pointing this way, left toes pointing this way. Inhaling, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Exhaling, bend your right knee, arms reaching out to the side. So we're back in this warrior 2 position. See if you can straight away find the engagement of the glutes, the lift of the hip, observing the sensations and how this feels second time you're doing it. Take your hands onto your hips. Ever so slightly, turn your pelvis towards the front right corner of your room. Ever so slightly, it's like a centimeter. Take your right hand onto your prop. Now, left hip, see how this feels on your back. You can lift it back up again. But if there's a place where you then feel pain in your back, see if it makes a difference if you drop it back down. So you have this possibility here. The left hand then reaching up to the ceiling. And just like we did for the spinal twist, where the back of your rib cage is where the twist is, you can feel that slight twist in the spine so that the left side of your chest can look up towards the ceiling. Left hand reaching up. On your exhalation, left hand coming to your hip, drop the left hip back down, press the right foot down, lift your body back up again, back into your warrior 2 position, and then exhaling, relax. Take your prop with you, right toes turning in, left toes turning out. The prop goes on the inside of your left foot. Inhaling, arms reaching up. Exhaling, bend your left knee, arms reaching equally out to the side. Squeezing the glutes, slight lift of the hip, even bringing your attention here alone. And taking your hands onto your hips, slightly turning the hips towards the left front corner, left hand coming down to your prop. Now you can choose to keep the right hip where it is or lift it back up again, your choice. And then the right hand reaching up to the ceiling, and you may feel an additional little spinal twist going on in your torso. Keep breathing, steady pace of breath. You can choose to look up at your hand, look down to the ground, or look straight. Choose like with intention where you're going to look, finding one steady gaze point. Then bringing your right hand back to your hip, drop the right hip slightly down. Inhaling, lifting back up into warrior 2 position. And exhaling, relax the arms, straighten the leg. Turning the left toes in, and then toe heel the feet back together again. Okay, your block you're going to need on the right side again. Feet together this time, squeezing your glutes. Inhaling, palms coming together above your head. Exhaling, sway to the right. Inhaling, coming back to center. And exhaling, sway to the left. Inhaling, coming back to center. Hands coming onto your waist. Your weight is in both feet. Sway the weight into your left foot. And then without dropping the hips, turn out the right leg. So when we do that, we don't want this happening. We're working on these muscles, pressing them in. Coming into vrikshasana or tree pose, you can press the foot into the lower leg or into your upper leg. If there's a wall or a cupboard nearby, you can use that for balance. So you choose where your foot is going to go. Think leg pressing against foot as much as foot is pressing against leg, and having the feeling like there's something happening to press this inwards. This side of your hip is stabilizing you. Palms together, or you're holding onto a wall. I'm a bit wobbly today. I would be holding onto the wall if I hadn't stood so far away from it. Keep having the feeling that you're stopping from the hip from wanting to move out to the side, so pressing the hip in, pressing inner leg into foot. And then slowly the knee comes forward and foot coming down to the ground. Hands onto your waist. Now we're toe heeling the feet open, not as wide as before. The right toes are pointing towards the right, left toes are pointing this way. So it kind of looks like a triangle shape. We're coming into triangle pose. This block in front of your right foot. Hands on your waist, on your hip bones, and again, slightly turning the hips towards the front right corner. Take your right hand down to your block. If you bend your knee, that is totally fine. And again, now you can choose to lift your left hip up or keep it where it was, and that depends how it feels in your back. And left hand reaching up to the ceiling. You may find a slight spinal twist in the mid part of your spine here again. So observing the sensation, feeling what you feel. On your exhalation, hands coming back to your waist. Now we're transitioning into a balancing pose next. Bend your right knee. Press your right foot quite firmly into the ground so that you can move your block or your support a little further forward. This works well if there's a chair nearby and you can holding onto the leg of it. Drop your left hip slightly down. You can hop your right foot closer to your left. And then start to take the weight into your right foot, lifting left leg up, straightening right leg. Again, you can think about lifting the left hip just as much as is comfortable. Your choice where the left leg lifts to. And if you wish, you can also take right hand up towards the ceiling. These are all optional extras. Hand can also stay here. And see if you can keep breathing your steady pace of breath. Coming out of the pose, if your hand is lifted, take it back to your waist. Bend your right knee and guide your left foot back down to the ground. Lifting all the way back up again. Oh. Turning the right toes in and then toe heel the feet back together again. Move your block to the other side. I'm going to do all of that on the left side. Starting with the feet together. Feel the glutes are engaged. Inhaling, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Palms facing forward. Exhaling, bend your elbows. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, spinal twist to the left. Left hip bone pressing forward. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, that mid-spine twist to the right. Think right hip bone pressing forward. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling, hands to the waist. Sway the weight into the right foot. And then without moving the pelvis, opening left leg to the side. Again, you choose the position of your foot, inside upper leg or lower leg. Avoid pressing your foot into your knee. Palms in front of your chest or holding onto your wall. And now feeling the support on the side of your hip here. So not letting the hip sway out to the side, pressing inwards, feeling the inside leg muscle pressing this way as much as your foot is pressing that way. And taking left knee forward and placing it back down to the ground. Toe heeling the feet out to the side. Left toes are pointing towards the left, right toes are pointing forward. Not too wide the legs here. I need to move away from my wall. Okay, hands on your hip bones, and then turning the hips slightly towards the front left corner. Left hand coming down to rest on your block. Right hand on right hip. You can choose if you want to lift it back up again or keep it where it was. And then right hand reaches up to the ceiling. You choose whether there's an additional little spinal twist in the mid-torso. So all of these are possible. You're trying to find a place where there is not pain in the back. You can look up at the ceiling, down to the ground, or look straight. Transferring into our Ardha Chandrasana or half moon pose. Right hand to your waist, drop the hip down ever so slightly again. Bend your left knee, press into your left foot, and then move your block or your support further forward. If it's too close to your foot, the balance will be more challenging. You can bring your right foot closer to your left. And then feel the weight coming into the left foot, start to straighten the left, lift the right. Again, if you want, you can lift the right hip back up again, or keep it where it was. And you also have the option of right arm reaching up to the ceiling, or staying on your waist. And the additional challenge is also breathing here, giving as much attention to your exhalation as your inhalation. To come out of the pose, we do it in reverse, hand coming back to the waist. Drop your hips slightly, bend your left knee, right foot comes down. And then lifting back up, turning in the left toes, toe heel the feet back together. The amazing thing about balances is that your mind really cannot be anywhere else other than in that moment. Feels quite refreshing afterwards. But also noticing if your mind goes into that inner monologue that we all have in our minds with the commentary about our balancing, just noticing if that happens. We are not our thoughts, so sometimes we need to step back from the thinking mind and go, oh, okay, is that where you're going right now? Come back to the top of your mat again. On your inhalation, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward, hands coming down towards the ground. Hands to shins or thighs. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhaling, bending the knees, hands to the ground. Bring the knees down, so tabletop position. On your inhalation, tilting the pelvis, let the tummy reach down to the ground. Chest forward, lift your chin. And exhaling, tuck your tailbone under, rounding your back, chin to your chest. Coming back to tabletop position, and come and sit down on the ground. So feet together, knees together, hands behind you. I'll turn this way so you can see. Can you see? Taking the outside of your right ankle across your left knee. Right knee opens to the side. You're totally in control here of how this feels. Taking the hands further away, foot further away will change intensity. So you can choose where your foot and your hands are. Think toes reaching back to knee. And then try to lengthen through your spine, feeling the top of the chest lifting up. So you're not kind of pulling on the lower back. And still paying attention to your breath, steady inhalation and exhalation. Bringing the right foot down. Same thing with your left foot. Outside left ankle, across right knee. Left knee opens to the side. This side may feel very different to the other side, so you may need to adjust the hands in the foot position again. And releasing that left foot back down. We are going to take one more pose before we come into our final relaxation. So you'll be lying down on your back, knees bent, and arms out to the side will be coming into a spinal twist, which can be from here or here. Both the knees will come down to one side. And the optional extra today is to straighten out the top leg, maybe even grabbing it with your finger. Staying here or straightening the leg. These are your two options. So come to lie down flat on the mat. Bend your knees with the feet flat on the ground or take your knees to your chest. And on an exhalation, bring both knees down to the right side of your body. Take a couple of breaths to, first of all, feel how that feels. And given this is our last posture of our practice, it may feel great just to stay like that. But now you can, if you would like, check out how it feels to straighten out the left leg. Could even be grabbing it with your right hand. And then you can choose whether you want to stay like that or go back to having both knees bent. You're still focusing on your breath, still focusing on how this feels in your body. Or perhaps now you're closing down your eyes. If you have straightened the leg, bend your knee again. And on an inhalation, lift both knees back up to center. When you're ready, both knees can come down to the left side. And again, take a couple of breaths to feel how that feels. And then you can experiment with straightening out the right leg or not. Then bend your top leg again if you've straightened it. And bring both knees back up to center. Hug your knees into your chest. And then come into the position you'd like to take for your final relaxation, stretching the legs out or feet flat on the ground, knees bent. Let your arms rest the side of your body. Close down your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh the breath out through your mouth. Releasing the control over your breath. Now the breath is just happening. Let the breath be natural and automatic. And let your body completely relax. Physical practice is over. Feel the muscles in your belly relax, the shoulders relax, muscles in your face. Let the arms and the legs feel heavy on the ground. And let yourself have this last couple of minutes where you don't need to do anything. And you don't need to actively think about anything. Let the mind meander and wander. And let your body be relaxed. Now start to slowly deepen your breath again. And begin to bring intentional movement back into your body, moving fingers, toes, moving your head side to side. You can bend your knees, roll to your side. And when you're ready, come back up to seated again. And we'll finish our practice joining palms together or resting hands on your heart. Take a deep breath in and sigh your breath out. Take a moment to notice, acknowledge how you feel right now. And send a warm wish and feeling of gratitude towards yourself for giving yourself some yoga practice in the middle of your day today. And from me to each of you, thank you so much for sharing your practice. Have a very wonderful rest of your day today. Thank you so much, everybody.